That was just some hookah. I smoke a lot of that. Okay. Anyways, all right. Well, I'm back for video 2. Like I said, these 3 videos are gonna come back to back because it's just fresh in my head. So, where did I leave off? Oh yeah. The ASVAB. Okay. Well, the ASVAB is basically like an SAT, right? It's like an SAT for the military. It's pretty standard stuff, pretty easy if you did good in high school and you actually paid attention. You shouldn't have a problem at all with it, okay? So, you know, yeah, it included like general science, arithmetic, word knowledge, paragraph comprehension, and math. Those are the 5 main parts you gotta focus on. They also it's a 9-part test, but the other like 4 parts they're not really. I mean they're important, yeah. They determine like your skilled technical, which is basically um different. It's like the sections are like different though. There'll be one where you like make a shape, or they give you like 4 shapes and you gotta like pinpoint them to each other or something like that. And it's like 3-dimensional seeing, mechanical knowledge, electrical knowledge, and some other stuff. But it's pretty common stuff. There's no way you can study for that part really. Well, there is if you know some stuff about like being an electrician, that's good because they have that part there, and it's a lot of stuff that I mean I didn't do too good on it. I think I got a pretty good score, but it was like I was just guessing most of the time because I didn't really know too much. I was more good with the mechanical part of it because I mess around with cars a little bit, so that was pretty easy. But yeah, what it basically concludes like is like ninth, 10th grade algebra or whatever it is, definitions and stuff. So my advice though is if you were deciding to take it now, and you've been a few years out of high school without any like college experience or whatever, take the practice test. That's how I studied. Take the practice test because they pretty much ask the same questions. They just word it differently. So you take the practice test, you get an idea of what questions to expect. Go military.com and click on practice ASVAB test at the top. Okay, and then just take them. Study a little bit because when I first took it at my recruiter's office, I got a 47 or something it was. So and then after that, I took the test again and I got a 83. So like it's not a lot. And I only had like 2 days to study. It wasn't really even studying. I was just answering the questions and just remembering some stuff. You know, study some algebra. A little bit of general science, whatever the case may be. But overall, all in all, it's not that hard. The process will be if you don't take it at MEPS. If you're not scheduled to take it at MEPS, your recruiter should schedule you for a meeting. I mean, not a meeting. A day to take the ASVAB at at the closest like military station, I guess. That gives it. So my process was I walked in. Um, you take the test rather early. I forgot what time, but it's pretty early. You go to your recruiter's office. Your recruiter will take you to the spot. Right. I took the test with some other army guy, and then you'll go into this building where there'll be a couple other people taking the test with you. When I took the test, there was like a couple Marines, couple Navy, and a couple Air Force, and some other Army guys from like I guess all over the 5 boroughs or whatever. It wasn't that big. It was like 11 people. That's a good test. All right, so you'll come in. Make sure you have a valid ID. All right, because they do this thing where if it's not valid, there might be a possibility where they can't process your test or whatever it is. So you have to take like a fingerprint, and there's still a risk in that. So just play it on the safe side. Bring your state ID and make sure it is valid, please. I can't stress that enough. It makes everything so much easier. It was harder for me because I had a not valid state ID because mine just expired. So yeah, you go into this room, you check in with some lady. Your recruiter will say, I mean, you'll go into the room and start to take the test. Your recruiter will leave. After you take the test, she'll come back and pick you up, and you should have your score like right there. The lady does a score for you or whatever. It won't be like the electronic one, but you'll get a general idea of where your score is. So when I got an 83, I was pretty psyched. You know what I mean? I think I scored the highest out of the class that took it that day. So I was pretty excited about that. Yeah. Um, but yeah, the ASVAB, it's not really hard for you guys that are nervous about taking it, or whatever it is. Just picture it as an SAT, and if you're just a generally a good test taker, which like how I am, I don't study. I never studied a day of my life or anything, and I usually pass with like an 80 or higher with all my tests. Don't ask me how I do it, but I guess it's just God given talent, you know, who whatever. So yeah, um, that's pretty much it. Just study a little bit, freshen up on math, because I think that was the hardest part was the math. I mean, some people are really good at math or whatever. Maybe the general science, because there's actually no way for you to study. They ask weird questions on the science test, like um, stuff that you won't really remember or that you even go over in like regular high school. I remember one question was like, how many stars does Pluto have, or something like that, or how many moons this planet has, or it's kind of kid stuff, but whatever. And if you can't answer a question, don't leave it blank. Don't leave it blank because they don't take away points for you getting something wrong. They only give points for what you get right. So whenever you're unsure of something, bubble in, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Whatever your best answer. Pretty much, that's about it. And then after you take your ASVAB, your recruiter should pick you up or something, and then it takes a couple days to process your regular score. And then once you get your regular score, like your real score, like on paper, um, your recruiter will call you, tell you to come in, and then do job selection. Right, job selection. She'll call you or he'll call you, whatever the case may be, and then she offers you a couple of jobs that come up. And again, jobs like people look at it as like the military isn't like oh, I want this job, so I'm gonna get it. You could ask for it, yeah, but it usually just falls around the fact if they have any openings, and because it's like a regular career, you have to have openings. They can't just have 30,000 people doing intelligence, if it's not needed. So basically, you go on the vacancy of the army, and I got even though I got an 83, I was offered 4 jobs right at that time, and it was 68 whiskey, which was a pretty much healthcare specialist, like a medic. I was offered cavalry scout. I was offered EOD, which was like a bomb disposal unit, and I was offered a cook, and a cook with an 83 ASVAB. Yeah, you do the math. Anyways, so out of the three, I mean out of the four, my best bet was 68 whiskey. So she'll ask you if you want to reserve it, or he'll ask you if you want to reserve it, and if you actually like the job, I suggest you reserve it because their jobs change every day. So today, 68 whiskey was available for me, but if I didn't reserve it at that time and took my chances of going to the floor, which is basically taking your chances at the MEPS to see what they have, then the next day if I decided I wanted to do 68 whiskey, it probably wouldn't come up. It'll probably be a list of whole new jobs. So I just decided to reserve that or whatever. So that's pretty much it. And then yeah, and then she'll schedule it for a day of MEPS. So anyways, video is about 9 minutes long now, 8:40, 8:50 now, whatever. So yeah, that's about it for the ASVAB. It's not that hard. Don't get nervous. Go in there, clear mind. Make sure to get some sleep the night before because it is a 3-hour test. Bring your state ID, valid state ID, right? And yeah, that's the process of ASVAB. Well, at least my experience with ASVAB. So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. Uh, I'll get back to you. I'll write to you. You know. So yeah, 9 minutes and 30 seconds. Okay. Anyways, kind of spazzing. It's like 3:45 in the morning here, and I'm tired. But yeah. Okay. Next video, I will discuss the process of MEPS, which is Military Entrance Processing Service. So yeah, stay tuned.